Hi everyone, I'm Lovely, and I'd like to welcome you to the making of Dennis the Sponge Collector. Now, obviously, I have to explain myself. What the hell is Dennis the Sponge Collector? Well, this is a game that I made on Roblox. I originally was going to have three videos on this game. I was going to have a video with commentary of me playing the game, a lovely plays, a video with no commentary, and then a making a video. But I just tried to record myself playing it, and my laptop crashed. um, yeah, I have a bad laptop. My laptop did not like me recording myself play Roblox. It was too much, and it decided, no thank you. So I decided instead, let me just do the making of video. If you want to play this game yourself, it will be linked in the description. This is based off of a machinima me and my friends made called Immeasurable Disappointment, or for short, ID, that we made in 2017, 2018. Um, this is, I guess, a I don't know if spin-off is the right word, but this is supposed to be a prequel game that takes place in the universe. I will have both the series, all I believe 16 episodes, linked in the description. I think it's 16. It's either 15 or 16. I can't remember right now. And I will have the game also linked. Um, but yeah, this isn't going to be me like this isn't going to be a compilation of videos recorded as I made it. I'm just going to go throughout the game and break it down as best I can. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, I love just behind the scenes stuff. I love explaining what's going on. It's my favorite subject. Um so yeah, this is the whole map for the game. And you might be wondering, am I losing my mind? You're not. Yes, the UI is over is over the game right now. Don't worry, the whole video isn't going to be like that. I can turn it off here, assuming I have everything correct. I can just pretty much press backspace on this, right? There you go. That should be more clear. Don't worry, everything I do, it won't be saved, so I'm pretty much free to do anything. But yeah, where do we start? First thing I want to do is give context for why this game even exists. Spoilers for ID. So, at the end of the game, the character that I absolutely love, played by Wysiv, he ends up in prison. He ends up in this jail cell. And I always had stories in my mind where it's like, okay, we have him in the jail cell. Now he has to get out. And I've always just like, not like, let's say, seriously considered, oh, how would he get out of there? But always played around with that idea in a funny way. For example, I made a map on Halo Reach, or I guess Halo MCC, but I made it in Halo Reach called The Dennis Experience. And it was just this part. And you're just stuck looking out. And that was the whole game. Just something silly like that. But no, if you've watched the series, you'll know that sponges are kind of important. Kind of is a bit of a stretch, but there is a sponge in the game. And Dennis is linked with that sponge. Um, I think he sees Marcus Phoenix throw it off a cliff, and then he follows him. There's a lot of other stuff that I won't explain. It's all pretty silly. But I had the premise to myself, what if, in order to get out of prison, he has to do a job for the COG and clean up all the sponges that are left over from a crashed condor? Um, that was the initial pitch. And the whole premise itself is supposed to be silly. It's supposed to be one big joke. And if anybody knows me, I love putting way too much effort into a joke. This game took at least 9 months to make. Um, Consecutive months, I should say. Like, if I'm recalling correctly, I started it a few years ago and I worked on a decent amount of it. But as you could tell, let me just look around real quick. Not only did it take a lot to make, there is scripting that is part of the game, and I couldn't figure it out. I really couldn't, and I stopped working on this game for a long time. I actually think the 9 months. I think I stopped working on this for 9 months, and then got back to it and finished it. Um, but just to play it safe, let's say I worked on this game for 2 years at most. I'm not completely sure. Um, I am recording this December 23rd, and I want to say the game has been finished for at least 6 months, 6 or more months. It's been finished for a while. I've just been waiting on the go ahead to release it. Um, so yeah, a very silly premise that I wanted to see if I could do, and I finally did it. So, yeah, Dennis the Sponge Collector. Where should we begin? God, that's a good question. So, this whole map is based off of a map from Gears of War. The whole series is based in Gears of War. So, if you played it, you might recognize this map, even just like briefly like flying around. This is the map Security. I've had a lot of experience remaking Gears of War maps in games. I've made at least three, 3 to 4 maps in what's it called, Minecraft, and I have a lot of experience with the Roblox editor. Um, Roblox Studio. There you go. This is my favorite editor for any type of game. There's this, and then Forge and Halo, which I may have made any Gears of War maps. I'm not sure if I did there. Other than the Dennis experience, I'm not sure if I made any there. But yeah, I just made the map. If I'm not lazy, I will put screenshots here. Because I did take screenshots of my progression. Um, but the first hurdle that I was thinking of when I made the game was okay, I could remake the game, like the map itself, but it's pretty tiny. It's pretty tiny. I started making the map, which I actually did a few years ago on my original Roblox account. I forget what my name on there was. It might have been Colin Nickerson. That's my combining my Hawaiian name with my last name. Uh, Colin Nickerson. And this account that I made it on is Colin Nickerson. What happened is I lost my original account because of the 2020, right? 2020? Wait, is it 2020? Yes. Whenever Trump got elected for the first time, a bunch of Roblox accounts got hacked and they were made to look like Trump supporters. And because I made my account in 2009, 2006, I was a kid, I didn't have a backup email or any type of security thing on it. So my account got hacked and I couldn't get back into it because if you don't have anything attached to it, you can't get back in. So while I did already make, or at least start making this map there, I got hacked. I had to stop, and I didn't think about it for a while. But then I got back to it. When I look it up, I believe I do have tweets for it, so I'll be able to look at the exact date, which you'll see on screen at some point, hopefully. Again, if I'm not lazy, you will see it. Um, but no, I started making the map and was like, this is small. I would like to have some creativeness with it, and I made it bigger than it was. So originally, I'll zoom out for this part. Originally, God, it would be. I'm not gonna have it in this video, but it would be nice to have comparisons from the actual map, itself. Yeah, no, that would be cool. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you would know what map this is based off of. If you don't, I will link some gameplay of what the maps look like, or sorry, what the map looks like from the actual game itself, like just normal, because they have some official fly through videos where they just have a camera fly through the map. But no, the map itself that this is based off of only has two parts. You have this side of the map and this side of the map. You have this area, and these little buildings here are like kind of buildings in the game, but they serve as spawn. I don't actually think they're buildings. Um, so when I adapted this to Roblox, I not only made the spawns into buildings, I added a whole nother building, which is for spawn. And if we go to each building, again, this is just spawn. In the game, this is just a flat area. But here in Dennis the Sponge Collector, I made it into more prisons. Um, I actually couldn't tell you what this building is. I couldn't tell you right now. But no, with my limited knowledge of prisons, like my the knowledge very limited. Most I know about is like Walking Dead. So I guess this would be, I don't know, A block, B block, C block, and D block. Um, yeah, I just did that. So this area is completely flat, and I added in some prison cells. Again, there's nothing much there, but that's kind of it. And over here, the map looks a lot more normal. Uh, Here, the map stops, and then you go through here, and this is what the map is kind of normally. You have a prison cell here, and that's kind of it. But I decided to go a bit extra with it, and I added this whole back part, which has more prison cells. I basically extended what was given to me, and I had so much fun, just like with the freedom that I had. Same with here. Um, in the actual game itself, I wouldn't say this is a building. Like, there's no top. There is this part, and over here, but I decided to make it a building and add prison cells as well. There was a lot. And again, that's only just for like the normal stuff. I mean, look at all the stuff on the side. I created like the whole play area right here, and I was like, okay, let's expand this a bit because there needs to be stuff to do. So I did. This building here, I was just kind of going off the style that I already had with these. This one I don't think is. I don't know what this building would be. I don't know. This is the kind of like starting building. You go in it one time for the most part. Like over here, I'm assuming you've played the game, by the way. If you aren't watching this, or if you're watching this and you haven't played the game, I said it already. Play the game first. Um, like other than going here to get these sponges, it's kind of just here. You come out of here and you're in it once, and that's kind of it. um, but no, I a lot of this I just had to come up with, and I like to think I did it pretty well. I find it very satisfying to look at. Um, God damn. No, no, I love how satisfying this is. I know. So I guess I should explain. For the most part, this was me working on it. Like I had to do the scripting and everything, but the other person I would talk to wasn't the co-creator of ID, Dylan McLaughlin. It wasn't him. It was the actor who plays Dennis, Wysiv. Um, I would basically go to him, checking like, hey, how do you feel? That type of thing. I know something he commented on when I was showing him this is why are all the buildings the same? And I have to say that is a very valid thing. When I was working on it, I tried coming up with different not only was finding an initial design difficult, like, okay, what texture do I do, etc., etc. Um, but for a while there, I did try to have different textures on everything because everything looks the same. Everything does look the same. But something I noticed was I was stuck. Because I was focusing on that, I wasn't moving on from it. So I kept everything the same and I just moved on from it. Kind of like, I was like, okay, maybe I'll get back to this. And I just never did. Um, my thought process for that is I've already put a lot of work into this, and I kind of think of this as a first attempt or like a first go. Um, I think I'll go back to that after this, but like this is the first game of this potential series. I currently don't have any intentions to make anymore. I'm good. This is a process. It was honestly just stressful because I was worried the whole time about losing this. Like, oh, what if something happens to my computer? That kind of thing. Like I already lost the first time I made it. Um, so instead of focusing on the coloring, the texturing, all that kind of stuff for months, which I did, by the way. There was a good few months where I just focused on that and I wasn't getting anywhere with it, which on is on me. Um, so I just moved on past that. I was like, nope, I'm not gonna get stuck on it more than I already am. I'm just gonna move on to the other stuff that needed like attention. So that's why everything looks the way it does. And I do have the mentality of this is just the first go. And for a first go at this attempt of game, first time making it, while I did have experience with Roblox Studio, the most I've ever made is an obby, which I'll link in the description, and just making maps. There is scripting in this. There's a lot I had to learn, and I'm pretty proud of it. So while I look at this and I'm like, this can be better, I'm completely fine with that. I'm completely fine with that. So, yeah, we're gonna be here for a while if you couldn't tell, by the way. So, I made the map, and I didn't get to the coloring process at all for the longest time. It was more so like, okay, I'm gonna make this. Imagine the whole map, but everything's gray. And after that, it was like, okay, now what? What do I do now? And I'm gonna be honest, I can't believe I got past that because holy shit, where do you even start? So I guess the first thing I did do, which makes sense, I guess this is the part I could build off of, is the whole concept of a condor crashing. Um, Condor is basically just an airplane, and again, the whole premise is that there is a condor flying over this place, and it crashes right here. You can see all the pieces everywhere. We have like the back end, we have some of the wing, which opens up this area. We have all of that, and we even have the cockpit. If we go down here, I actually made this model from scratch. I had a picture to go off of, like a reference of like Gears of War 4 Condor. And I just made this from scratch. Um, Goddamn, and I gotta say, this looks really fucking good. This looks really fucking good. I made sure after I made it. You can see by the way, it's all gray. That's what the whole map looked like. This is my default has always been keeping it gray and smooth. But no, I copy and pasted it, and there's actually one under the map. I don't know if anybody's actually gonna like without the video. I don't know if anybody will discover this. That's so funny because of all the shadows and stuff. It kind of looks like it has a pattern. No, those are just shadows. I don't believe the actual base plate is casting a shadow, so that's why the other shadows are going through, or why the whole thing isn't just shadow. So, no. The first thing I did was make a condor crash, and you could already tell this is hilarious. So, my whole idea was like, okay, you have to collect sponges everywhere, but because of the condor crash, it'll open up some areas of the map slash close some areas off. I also had the idea to explain we have all these crates and stuff. I think what it was is like it's implied that a team was here beforehand that kind of just cleaned it up a bit or did something, but they still left all the sponges. Like their job was to clean up, my job was to get the sponges. Dennis's job. So the first thing I have here, just to show something cute. Is there actually something right here? Yes, look at that. Oh, I love how this looks. But no, the wings, the condor did a lot of damage to the map, and I recall this was the first part I worked on. Um, I did this, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be super detailed, all that kind of stuff. A hole got blasted in the wall, so you could actually see a formation, all of that kind of stuff. You could see bricks everywhere. This is gonna be super detailed, and then I realized this is gonna be fucking really hard if I do it this way, and it's gonna take for fucking ever. I want to say this is a couple months into development. So while you might see some light destruction, while you might see some light destruction, that's kind of it. This is the only, I'm pretty sure, the only super, super detailed destruction that you see in this game. Because I realized early on, oh yeah, I'm a one-man team. I can't just do this for an entire map. Hell no. So yeah, I did that part, and I was like, okay, I'm not doing this, but I got back to just making the map and the obstacles. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not entirely sure how I figured out how to start all of this, because this is insane, just as like a starting point. So, something I do remember. Actually, goddamn, where do I go from here? I guess I'll start with all the ads. So, these were here blank for the longest time. And I had kind of no idea what they were going to be. I didn't know if they were going to be official COG signs. I had no idea. And I think they were one of the last things I worked on, development wise. And I think they came together pretty well. They are just references to the series. We have donate Gears coins to the new Ephyra Hospital today. This hospital is used in the series. It's used in episode 6 of season 2. No, wait. Yes, episode 6 of season 2, we see Marcus here in the hospital. If we go over here, we have Major Burger is coming back, new locations opening all over Sierra. This was a bit that I came up with. In the series, we have Major Burger, like it's like a brand. It's in Gears of War itself, actually. But no, Dennis is here at one point when he sees a sponge for the first time. So, in an audio drama, after the series ended, after episode 15, and we kind of just went on hiatus, I've always loved audio dramas, and I wrote out a lot of stuff like, oh, I want to see this, that kind of thing. And none of them came to be, but the first time I thought of like referencing Major Burger, that was done in an audio drama. I want to say maybe 4 or more years ago. Damn, I didn't realize how old this was. I mean, the initial series was made when I was 17. I'm 25 now. Um, let's go over to this ad. We have Settlement 2 recruiting now. This is more of a reference to, I guess, Gears of War, Gears of War 4 and 5. And then we have Buy Vintage Armor today. Vintage Armor is one of my favorite armors from, I believe, Gears of War 4. Call Black Tusk now. Black Tusk, the Coalition. So I wanted to reference that. Like, we have ads in the prison. After doing that, I realized how odd of a choice that was. So you can actually find this right here. I left these tapes. These are basically like, find these. I'll show you the sign actually. You find those for fun facts. I always loved hearing behind the scenes and stuff. Well, I've never listened to them. I would compare them to the Valve commentary tapes that you would find on like Portal or other games that I assume did that. Other Valve games that did that too, where you play the game normally, but you get to hear behind the scenes. Um, yeah, but no, I thought the ads were super cute, and again, a lot of effort for a dumb joke. I love doing it. I can't help it. Um, ID was always this silly thing, but I loved putting just all the effort and all the detail into it. It's probably there's there didn't have to be that much detail to say the least, but I just love it. Continuity, all the type of stuff. Um, so I guess a good starting point, or like an actual starting point to go off of, is Spawn. I believe it's in this direction. Look at that. So this is based off of the first time we see Dennis in the show. It's the map War Machine, and even though I say it in the game because I do have commentary tracks in the actual game, like you have the fun facts, but at the end of the game, after you finish it, we have these commentary tracks. So despite I'm gonna repeat a lot of what I say in those, but no, despite it making all the sense to start here, this wasn't the original starting place. I originally had a bit of a hub area, and you would get to the map via this. You would spawn here and then go there. The idea was to have more maps than this. I wanted to have at least 3 maps. And I realized, nope, nuh-uh, that's not happening. But no, like how this is a portal here. There was gonna be, I think I had just for placeholders like 5. I am a big fan of Super Meat Boy, and I love the idea. I completely forgot about this until right now. I love the idea of having a normal version of the map and then a super hard version of the map. And that just never got made. Again, there's a lot of stuff to build off of. While I don't have any intentions of doing a sequel or anything like that, there's a lot of areas I could build off of that. I know for a fact if there was a second game, it would be incredible. Again, I'm not gonna do that. This shit took forever, and I don't think there's even an interest for another game. It would just be for me, and this game was already just for me. I'm not making more. I'm not making more. I'm good. But no, this was originally the hub area for the game that would have more maps, and then eventually it got turned into that, which makes which makes a lot more sense. I wonder how that's gonna look in the video. Um, but a remnant, this was gonna be a tutorial map. Obviously, there's a whole city here right now. That wasn't going to be there. Um, no, I think there was a respawn point somewhere here, but the original idea for this area was gonna just be a place where a condor was. Introduction, like this was an introductory area. You would do this before you did that, and I wanted to say there would be like 10 sponges. You can get introduced to what a condor is before you actually see a crashed one, which I think makes sense. Um, and this was gonna be like a tutorial map because while I know how to play Roblox because I've done Roblox for years, that's not the case. That's not the case for everybody else. People might not know shit. Like, yes, there might be basic jumps, but does the average Roblox player know that if there is an incline like this, do they know that you can go up that? And I want to say no. Um, and obviously in this map, this is an intended way of getting up. Um, and no, a tutorial was going to be made, and then I can't remember when. You could see very early on though. I was like, no. I just couldn't think of anything. An initial thought was it was gonna be a warehouse, um, just a simple one. But I was like, no, I don't think I need to do that, so I didn't. And instead, because I didn't do anything here, you could see there's other stuff here. We have the ending location, which I'll get to after. I feel like there's still a lot of the game I have to cover. Um, but no, not only is this here, but so is the city. So I guess I should start with this. I keep saying that as if I'm not starting with a lot of things. I guess I should move on to this. Originally in the game, there were 30 sponges. They were all over the ground, and none of them were on buildings. I mean it. There were no sponges on top of buildings. But then, when playing, I want to say this area right here, I was just playing normally, like just play testing. I hopped on here and I hopped over to this sign, and I did that all naturally. It wasn't planned. It wasn't an intentional. You weren't supposed to get up here. I even recall I might have had invisible walls. I'm not completely sure. Um, but no, you weren't supposed to get on here. But then I did, and I'm like, well, that felt pretty good. Discovering that on my own, I have to add more, and I did. So I said 30, but it was actually, I believe, 33 sponges on the ground. And well, I made it into 100. I've always loved getting out of maps and games. The best example I could think of is the campaign for Halo 2. I It's gonna sound odd, and if you're a level designer, you're probably gonna be mad at me. Um, but my favorite thing about that campaign, being a casual Halo fan, I let other people talk about the story, all that kind of stuff. I loved loading into a map, jumping on top of something, and just skipping the level. I am such a fan of that, and that inspired me for this game. I wanted getting out of the map to be something that was just here. Um, Now, obviously, all of this is in the map, but when you get out of here, when you go from here to here, it feels like you're getting out. And I just wanted to build on top of that. And because of that, you have all these extra sponges, all these extra areas you can go to. And I think having that freedom is amazing, especially in a game like this. I think it comes together so well, like so beautifully. And yeah, I mean it, for being such a silly idea and everything. I'm actually really proud of this. Like, goddamn. Goddamn. But no, it was when I first made this, again, it was not going to be a thing. You were not going to get out of the map. That just wasn't going to happen. And then I did it and it was like that's a lot more fun. So I left it in. Um God damn. But no, that's the whole map. To talk about the outside real quick. I made these walls just tall enough to where you couldn't look super on the outside. You still can. But the whole outside of this looks really shitty. So I didn't want people looking at it too much. I've always liked this is advice that I got from Halo Reach, forging Halo Reach. If you have something on the outside, it looks a lot. I'm trying to remember who this might have been. God's Regret, a YouTuber at the time, or somebody else. But it's like, just throw something out there. Just make it where you can only see the top half. It'll make it feel like a lot more than it is. And I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna pretend like when people see this, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, he made a whole city out there." No, but it still looks nice. I believe in the commentary track. I think I made this whole outside area when I had a spare hour to myself. I wasn't going to make something like this, but then I was like, "Oh shit, let me do that." So I did. um, to go to the original plans because this game went through a lot of phases. If you're still here, thank you for keeping up with me. I'm recording this at 3 a.m. and I am rambly. Um, but no, while this game is a prequel to the series, that wasn't always the case. I can't recall if I said it earlier, but originally this was a sequel. The whole premise is okay, after this, you are given sponges, or like a condor crashes over this, and you need to collect every sponge to get out. Originally, this was going to be in a desert. And there was a desert around this. I don't believe I have any screenshots, but for probably over a year, there was no city, and it was just desert as far as you could see. And while you would play the game, Dennis, he would comment to himself, being like, this doesn't look how I remember it. Or, like, man, it's pretty convenient that I can jump on top of this. Which I think is thoughts the player would have. But if the person that you're playing as is also acknowledging that, I think it's really interesting. But no, if you would look in the distance, back when this was a desert, though, there would be another map over here. And I'm going to talk about all, like, the canceled plans I had with this, all that type of stuff. But originally, you were set here, and you would see, um, all desert, and in the area, you just see a giant cliff, which is going to be the cliff from the series. Um, on top of that cliff is a map called Veronia, and I was going to have it where you could also explore that map. Yes, I had a lot of ideas and very ambitious ideas. Ambitious is a good word. Um, that's why I don't feel too bad about what I've done here in terms of content, in terms of what I was able to make. Because this is a fucking lot, and I'm not gonna have anyone tell me it's not. I'm pretty proud of this. Um, Even if in some areas I'm like, oh, that's too hard, I don't want to do that, or etc., etc. I'm very happy with how this came out. But no, originally I was gonna have a way for the player to get out of the map, and naturally they would go to this big ass thing over here. Just imagine just a big cliff like that, right? And there was gonna be Veronia, and instead of sponges there, you would find tapes left behind by the characters of ID. In the story, I believe where the cliff was, there was a place called Veronia, and they just left Veronia and it never got into. Like in the series, we never went into it. It was like they left Veronia and they went to a different place. And in those tapes, there's going to be an explanation for that. And I don't think early on in development, but at some point I realized I am not going to be able to do that. I did have a cliff made, had all of that done, but I never started a city, and the cliff really wasn't that detailed. Um, but no, it just didn't happen. I also just changed the idea. Something that was going to happen is after you get on that cliff. Again, this is going to be very what if, and then I'm going to comment on it. But the story for this game was very, very different. It took place after. And again, Dennis is around this place. He's commenting like, man, this looks weird, or this looks convenient. You were going to get out of the area. And right here, I believe, because this is where the gate is. I don't know if I have any screenshots of it. If I do, I'll place them here. If I don't, oops, you can hear me describe it. There would be a sign here that said testing facility. And you would find out that you're not actually at a cog. You're not at the prison. You're at a place like a replica of it, which is supposed to be kind of like an, oh shit, what the hell is happening? And then you get there, and then you would find out this is all a convoluted plan for Rich to take out Dennis. Um, and I think that's actually why I didn't do it. I realized that's very over the top, convoluted, and unnecessary. And I had a pattern of doing that during the series. If you watch the series, very complicated for pretty much no reason. And I saw myself doing that again. And I was like, nope, let me not do that. And I think once I had that realization, I was like, okay. And I stopped. I was like, nope. And I kept it to simple. There was almost a version of this where this all was a dream, because I think for this type of game, that wouldn't be too offensive. You know, it's never fun when you do something like, oh man, that was just a dream. You're a soldier collecting sponges. It's already pretty silly. But no, in the end, it got turned into a prequel. I do still think some of the lines are left in that talk about how this is a dream or about how it's convenient. I'm not sure about the convenient part or like, the original storyline, but there is a reference where Dennis is like, "Man, even in dreams I can't escape this place." That line is there because this was intended to be a dream at one point. Um, but yeah, no, that was one of the original ideas for the game that I decided to not go through. I think rightfully not go through. I still love the idea of finding the cliff. Again, I love Easter eggs and stuff. Um, but yeah, that that is a lot. No, I think you got a good amount of behind the scenes. If you look at the timestamp, I don't think we're anywhere close to done. So I guess we should start going into some of the actual behind the scenes. Here, let's open up this workspace. Here we have every single line. And yes, every single line. Teleporter pads, and then you can see every single object. Um, it's a lot. It really is a lot. And I think, if I'm not wrong, we're either in a bugged version or we're not. Oh, we're in a bugged version. That's unfortunate. So sometimes Roblox Studio is just bugged and I can't actually click on anything. And because of that, I won't be able to show off stuff specifically, but I can still talk about it. So, I talked about it before. There is scripting in the game. Now, I have never scripted in my life. I didn't script stuff until this game, and it was very difficult. So, what I wanted to happen is I think the gameplay of this game is alright. What I think would make it fun is picking up the sponge and hearing Dennis say something. I think his performance is genuinely amazing, and I love it. Like, not in a making fun way. No, I love Dennis. I just do. So, I think part of the fun would be walking around. Oh, I get to hear Dennis say something funny. And even if it's not funny, because of the performance, it's funny. So, you go around and you just pick stuff up. So, not only did I want a voice line to be played every time you picked up something, I also wanted you to get points. Like, if you played the game, in the corner, it'd be like, all right, one sponge, two sponge, etc. I'm gonna skip some of the explanation. Let's just say getting the UI and everything up here was already annoying, but I couldn't find a way to do all of that at once. I wanted this to be one object and with multiple scripts in it to do all of that to say a voice line and get the points, and it just wasn't happening. And I think that was one of the first times, or one of the first, first time I got stuck, and I didn't work on the game for a long time because I didn't know what to do. If I could find a script here, let's click on Sponge. I'll explain some of the models in a bit. This is a Condor, Crash Condor, of course. Master Chief, what's he doing there? I'll explain that. But no, let's click on Sponge. Where does this take us? Okay, it takes us over here. We'll use this one as an example. So, in every sponge is the sponge itself. But in every sponge itself are 3 scripts, a decal because it's subtle, but there is a texture of the sponge on every single sponge. This was added very late into development. But we also have the sponge light. I want to note that each sponge has a light because there's no radar or a minimap in this game that would tell you where all the sponges are. That's why there are lights like that. So, it wasn't too difficult. I think I could actually pull up. Ooh, I hope to God that's being recorded. If it's not, that'll be tough. OBS, what do you say? Yeah, OBS says no. Yep, OBS isn't showing those. And if I click on them, I'm pretty sure they'll fuck with the video. and that is not something I want to touch right now. But no. So I believe, if I'm not wrong, OG. Actually, you know what? I could still check what it does. You just won't be able to see. So yes. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. When you pick up a sponge, I want it to go away as well. So that's why there are three scripts. So one script is there to play the noise of the sponge being collected, because there also is a noise. There is a script there for, I'm thinking, trying to think, I'm trying to process. There is a script there to play his line. But then there is also a script to get a point. Now, I had the issue of, wait, let me check what this last one is. Yes. So, this is just a script to destroy. You don't actually get a point. If you were to walk into this and it would disappear, you would not get a point. And when I tried to have all of that scripting together, it just wouldn't work. So that's when I made these. Apple. I called these Apple just so they would be at the top of the thing. Time to figure out where this is, because, uh-oh. Inside of every sponge, there was also a block that I would put down that would give you a point. And also, break it. Why do I have a decal on it? It's invisible. Why is there a decal? But no. So the reason I'm kind of talking here, but like, if you click on this, it should take you. It should show the block highlighted, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not seeing it anywhere. Um, there you go. I was like, one of these is gonna have it. So this block right here is an invisible block that I put around the sponge. And I believe that is there to give you the point. And also destroy itself. Um, Around every single sponge is this. And I actually remember. This is really funny. I actually remember when I made this under area, I think this sponge or some sponge was like maybe over here, something like that. And I moved it because I'm like, oh, I actually want it over here. But I forgot to move the Apple version of it. And I remember when I played the game, did some test runs, I was like, uh-oh, why do I have 99 points? Why don't I have 100? And I realized that was why. The scripting process for this fucking sucked. It was really bad. Can I deselect that, or is that just going to be permanently selected? Uh-oh. Alright, damn, that's just going to be selected. Um, no. This was fucking rough. But I made it work, and as you can see, now you get a lot more behind the scenes for what this is. We are not done yet though. Let's talk about all of these models. So, a lot of these models are just like the actual buildings themselves, I'm pretty sure. Oh, some of these are actually, wow, yeah, there's a lot of, oh god, it's all messy. Let's go to the JMS trash cans. So, these are in the game, and it was always an inside joke of these trash cans. Why are these trash cans there? They're all over the game, and we even decided to leave it in the series, just showing the trash can. And I think we wanted it to mean something, but I don't think it ever took off, like the idea itself. So, yeah, but we do just have these trash cans in the game, and I think that was a cute little reference. And we even have Dennis say, "I guess it just means something," which I think is cute. Some other stuff. One of my favorite things I did. It was somewhat last second, but after I recorded lines for the first time, originally I could be wrong. Originally, I don't think I was going to be in this game at all. But after recording my lines for the beginning over here, oh, that's the end. My bad. Where is the beginning? Is it over here? Thank you. Once I realized, like, oh yeah, the game is going to start like episode 7 orders from ID. Um, I liked hearing myself in the thing. Um, I'm someone who I could watch something that has my voice in it, but if I'm with somebody else, uh-uh. Like I say it in my videos all the time. I I watch my own videos. I like listening to them. I think they're funny. But if I'm am I gonna watch that with somebody else? No. So despite myself being like, okay, I do like my voice originally, I was like, I'm not gonna be in this at all. But then I put myself in and I was like, okay, I like that. And the most of the game was finished at this point. Most of it was. A lot of these models are kind of like the sponges. I was already experienced at this point, so I knew how to get these in here. Um, but no, if you go around the map, you'll find tapes of myself, and I was like, that's cool that I'm in there a little bit, but I would like to be in there more. So I have it that when Dennis misses some jumps, sometimes you'll hear Rich. It's something that my character Rich. It's something that I don't think anybody is expecting. Uh, and when they hear it, I don't think people are gonna realize how that works. I know I've pretended to be smarter than I am when I've explained it to some friends. Uh, like I'd be like, "Oh, I made a whole technology to detect when you miss some jumps," that kind of thing. And it's a lot more simple than that. It's a lot more simple. So, I don't know what I have them named as. It's not Apple. Is it the blanks? It's got to be the blanks. So, there were points where I'm like, okay, somebody's going to miss a jump somewhere. Right here. You have to jump from here to there, and you might miss that jump. So, I just put an invisible block there that basically works as a trigger. When you fall in it, a line plays. Here's one of them, for example. Uh, Over here, you can see there's some right here. If you miss this jump, you hear it. If you miss this jump, you also hear it. And you could discover all of these on accident, but I don't think people are going to be thinking that like ahead. Like let's say this. Um where is it? Right here. This one here. If you wanted to, you get to this location by jumping over here. You could walk over here, go to the ground and jump up and you would trigger that and be like, "Man, I can't believe you missed that jump." Like it wouldn't make any sense at all. But I don't think anybody's thinking of that. So, yeah, that's genuinely one of my favorite things. I wish more games had that. I'm sure there are some out there. Uh, but that was one of my favorite things was being like having dialogue for when you missed, and that was a good way of getting myself in there more. Also, if you wanted to find all of these in the game, I specifically changed the color of the crates. There you have the normal, like, I think orange and brown ones, but the ones that aren't orange or brown, you will find one of these lines next to them. So, there you go. Um, Speaking of that, let's talk about the end of the game, because I think I covered all of this pretty well. No. Oh, I got a notification. Okay, that was my Roblox account. Oh, wow, I started recording this one. How long have I been recording for? Oh, about almost an hour. Okay, that's fun. This is gonna be a bitch to edit because there were times where I was too rambly, and I'm gonna want to cut that out. But no, let's talk about the end. Um, oh shoot, I realized I don't know if I explained this part of the video because I'm trying to recall what I recorded and what I didn't record. Wait, that didn't make any sense. No, okay, it made somewhat sense. So again, I recorded a video that lasted about 20 minutes before this. It lasted 20 minutes. It was just me playing the game, and I was explaining stuff there too. But then again, my video crashed. The first time ever that my laptop crashed while recording a video was for this game. So I explained some stuff there. that I don't think I did here. So you spawn here, and the first thing you see is a welcome sign. This is a special thanks to all of those that were an immeasurable disappointment. Um, I won't go over it again. If I repeated myself just now, I think that's okay. It's a short repeat, like I've only repeated just a little bit. Um, but despite how messy and annoying the creation of ID was for everybody, I loved how it got everybody together in some kind of way. That's one of the reasons why I love it so much is because it's this entire friending group, kind of like I don't want to say time capsule. I don't want to be dramatic about it, but it was everybody together. And one of the things I love about ID is how I just got everybody in there. Not I, but like I like getting people in. For example, friend group started off small, and then I got a lot more people. And as we would go on, we would get people in there. So, for example, ID was already on hiatus at this point. We had 15 episodes, and for the anniversary, we decided to remaster some episodes and then make another one. And for that, we got Mel here, and we got Mel in the series, and that was cool. Now I made this game, and we're like, okay, we have another friend now. Her name's Janelle. Let's get Janelle in the series, and we did. She plays Minister Jin, and that is something I just love about ID. Yeah, that was something I felt like I wanted to cover again. I felt like I couldn't remember if I did. If I did already, that's embarrassing. But if I didn't, yeah, no, I love this aspect of ID. But no, let's skip to the end. So this, oh yeah, oh yeah, you can hear it in my voice. I've been recording for a while. So because this was a last minute idea, um, how long I talk for does not match how long it takes to get to the prison. For example, if you really wanted to, you can grab this, rush your way all the way here, and have dialogue that laps each other. Um, that was something I actually thought about a lot, and you don't. I'm sure there's still areas where it happens. Um, but when you're picking up sponges and stuff, each line is very specific. For example, this sponge is right next to this sponge. So both of the dialogue options here are short, and that is planned ahead of time. But if you go over here, this sponge right here, the closest sponge to that is over here. It's just a little further. You could have this line for when you pick this up be a little longer. Um, and that is, again, there's planning for the entire thing, for every 100 sponges. It was very, very specific. This was very planned out. But for this part here, it was not planned out. So, not planned out as much, at least. So, you might get this and be like, okay, that's lasting pretty short. So, originally, these portals, they weren't right here. It was very awkward. I had them down hallways so that no matter what, whenever you would hear the dialogue, you would have to get all the way to the end of these to progress. So no matter what, they wouldn't overlap. Though, I just hoped for the best when you pick this up. No, no, no. That's actually. No. Well, I did want to thank everybody. I put this here so maybe the person would stop and read it. Therefore, you know? Wow. I'm re-remembering stuff as I do this. That's hilarious. A little funny. Most of this is impromptu. I don't have any script, and I don't think that's gonna be a news. I don't think it's gonna be news to anybody. um, Wait, you're telling me he rambles in these videos? This isn't planned? It's planned kind of, but not a lot. But no, yeah, I would put stuff that I think people would look at, and hopefully that would stop them. Just long enough so the line can play and not overlap. So no, they might read this, and they might also read that. Or instead of going over there and activating a line, they might walk over here. Um, there, that's so funny. But no, let's finally get to this end, please, because there is a lot I still want to talk about. I feel like I've covered a decent bit though. So now here's a little secret, by the way, for testing purposes. So I wouldn't have to collect the sponges. I made a wall here that you could walk through. And if you pick this up, you get 1,000 sponges. And not only do you get 1,000 sponges, um, you also get the rainbow path that you would get at the end of the game. I am very old school when it comes to Roblox, and I always love the whole after you finish a game, you just get a rainbow path. I loved that, and that is something I wanted to have for this game. So while you're pretty free in the actual gameplay, you're still kind of, you know, you're, how do I say it? You're still trapped. You can't do anything I wouldn't want you to do. Like, you can't get out of the map, you can't do this, you can't do that. But I think when you can't break the game, essentially. But when you have this, you can do whatever the hell you want. And I think that type of freedom in a game after you beat it is amazing. Not every game needs it, of course, but it's like, no, you earned this, and what's gonna happen? What are you gonna do? Break the game? Who cares? You beat it. So I think the ending of this game, as an old Robloxian and just enjoyer games, I want more games to do this. I think this is super satisfying. You get a rainbow path, and this goes back to what I was saying before. I got to record commentary tracks that basically said behind the scenes of the game. And I don't go as in depth as I do here, obviously, but no, you get to hear a lot of stuff that I think is interesting. People might not care, but that's okay. It doesn't mean I did something wrong. um, but no, you get to fly around, and I tried putting these commentary tracks visually in order because there is an order which might not work out. But because of the length of them, I had to separate them a certain amount. Um, like, you get the path giver, but you're still slow, and the reason you're still slow is for that reason of you wouldn't want to pick this up, and this is like a whole paragraph, and if this was right next to it, they would overlap. It would be kind of weird. So I tried to make them obvious, but I also tried to put them a good distance apart, so lines wouldn't overlap. And yeah, you would hear behind the scenes. You would fly here and be like, "Oh, I see something in the distance. Let me go there." Um, there is still a chance, like, hey, people might miss it, that kind of thing, but that's okay. But no, you fly through all the areas, and eventually you get to the end here, where you get a final message from me and a little speed thing. And I think that's awesome. Um, I know sometimes when I was just chilling, like doing nothing, I would just free roam and just. I think I would do this when I would be talking to Ysiv about like progress on the game, that kind of thing. I would just fly around the map. You go really fast with this, and I think it's super fun. Um, but no, I that's what I wanted the end of the game to be, and I think I did it pretty well. I'm really happy with it, and not only that, there are Easter eggs. Um, right here, I'm gonna try to go over every Easter egg and then end it, but there's a chance that I won't remember every Easter egg. It's been a bit. But no, if you look around the map, you'll find all the Gears of War cases. Somewhere close over here, I want to say, we have a Master Chief, because Ysiv enjoys Halo. There you go, we have another one. What is this? This is Gears Judgment. These are just pictures I got off Google, by the way. Like, this is hilarious. Like, you can see that this is somebody's counter that they just took a picture on. Where else? I'm zooming out so I could hopefully find these. I think this is Gears Tactics, right? Yeah, Gears Tactics. Well, I got Gears Tactics in this bitch. Okay, that's random. Over here, we have Gears of War 4, but we also have the photo around it. Now, if anybody knows what the photo is, it is a picture of Day of the Dead Kate and JD sitting next to each other. I actually have this photo framed in my house. But this is a variant of that doesn't have them there. I could have done the other one, but I thought it was more interesting to do the empty photo. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Um, I feel like, wait, are they over here? Yeah, there they are. We have Super Meat Boy. I'm somebody who doesn't like to use models that are in like the toolbox and stuff. I like kind of doing everything from scratch. But when it came to Easter eggs and that type of stuff, I would just use models. Because, I mean, why not? They're there for a reason. No, I had a lot of fun with this aspect of the game. It was like, okay, I could finally be kind of. I'm free to just do whatever. We have season 1 and season 5, Rick Grimes, next to a trans flag. They're saying trans rights. They're saying trans rights. That's also something I wanted in my game as well. Um, Trans people are chill. They're just people hanging out. We love them here. They're fucking really cool. Um, God, there are a lot more Easter eggs, but I think the one I'll end it on because I think I did cover most of the game. If I'm forgetting something, oops. But the last Easter egg I'll do is, I think I recognize this. I'm not completely sure. What is this? 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. Obviously, this is an outdated Easter egg, but I think still a fair one. This is the hatch from Lost. I won't explain anything about it. I'm good. But this hatch was in gaming and just everything Easter egg wise for a good while Lost was on the air and even after it ended. And I'm like, I need to do this. I need to have this here. So, yeah. um, yeah. I'm lovely. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Again, sadly, I won't have like gameplay of this because my laptop can't handle it. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. If there is ever gameplay of this on YouTube, holy shit, that would be amazing. That's a dream of mine. Um, One of the reasons why I wanted gameplay with commentary and without is because I don't know how long Roblox has in it. At some point, whether it's a few years from now or many years from now, Roblox will be gone and you won't be able to play this game anymore. It'll be impossible to play. Um, and that's sad. It's tough. We're in an era right now where things are ending. I was reminded recently that not only did Volition, a big gaming thing of 30 years, close, but like other things are closing too. And I don't know how much longer Roblox has, and I don't think you'll be able to play this game forever. And the reason I wanted gameplay videos, no commentary, would be no commentary, and the ideal version would be me collecting everything, me playing every single line. You can't see my hands, I'm waving them around like it's like I'm presenting right now. But I wanted a video that would show off literally everything and then every Easter egg. Because, oh my god, I forgot I fucking put Batman here. um, I wanted a video like that because I wanted to capture everything from this game because it's gonna be gone at some point. And I'm proud of it. I really am. So while this is a making of, a very rambly making of, it's also a love letter to Dennis the Sponge Collector. Again, I don't intend on making any sequels, um, despite it being, I think, very easy to make a better version of this. Um, yeah, I just loved making this, despite how stressful it was. The stressful part was I gave it to myself. It wasn't like any deadlines or anything like that. It was like, man, my laptop might just crash. um, so yeah, I'm lovely. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I'm gonna have to edit this. That's gonna suck. um, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Thank you to uh Dylan Dylan McLaughlin for not only creating ID with me. Thank you to Wysiv for providing the voice of Dennis, and thank you to Janelle for providing the voice of Minister Jin. Okay. Goodbye.